Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a quick little video just on something I'm doing. This is soapstone right here. Okay, and I already started this project, which is why it's in the shape it's in and everything. And what I'm making here is just an oil lamp. Alright, and it's just kind of my own little creation. I'm sure it'll work, should work. Usually what you'd do, like what natives would do, is just make one simple circle here and then a handle over here, and then you just lay your wick on the side of your hole here, and you just light it and it'll just soak up the oils and burn and make an oil lamp. I'm just making one that's a little cooler that I can actually set in my house. I'm putting a hole here, and then I'm going to drill down, and I'm using some modern tools with this too. Most of it's carved by hand though. The only part I'm using the drill in is there's a hole inside here, and I'm just going to show you guys the rest of it as I carve the rest of it to give you an idea what I'm going to do, basically to show you what I'm about to do with the big piece of soapstone I have to make a bowl container to boil in. So I'm just going to kind of show you how I do this here in case you ever want to get some soapstone and work with it. But the idea is, in the end here, I'm going to drill a hole in the center, and the wick will just sit in the center. These are angled a little bit. The holes I'm making are angled, so all the oil will go down and then go straight up the wick in the center. Okay, so I'll show you the tools here I'm using. This is the tool. You'll see this when I finally put up my deer hide video. I'm working on some deer hides and stuff, and this is a tool I use to poke the deer hide to tie it on. And this piece here is just one of those steel things for receipts. You punch the receipt down on it. My buddy was cleaning out his old office, and I said, hey, I could use that. So I filed the tip down even better, more sharp, and drilled a hole in this antler. I used this special glue called 10X to hold it in there, and wrapped it in some bank line. And I got some fishing line over here. It's starting to get all tangled up, but it's perfect for casting. You toss it like this and it just spools right off, and then you just use it like a reel, like this. But I'm using this and this to actually, this tool is multifunctional. You can use it in many ways, as an awl, hide poker, whatever. And I'm using it to bore down around the edges of my circle, and then use the other pieces I have here to file it out. And then you just use like a basic file here, just a basic file for cleaning the edges off and stuff and getting your shape. This is a chainsaw file. I mentioned that in the video where I had that compact chainsaw that I carry with me. This is a chainsaw file right there. And then I just have a screwdriver for smoothing out some edges and stuff. But then I've mostly just used my multi-tool for the whole thing. I could do the whole thing with this if I wanted to, but like I said, this is something I'm going to put in my house and use it. So for this one, that's what I'm going to be using for tools. And then, like I told you, I use the drill to get that hole down there to go inside the thing. You could do it with, a makeshift hand drill or something with a stone tip on it. That's probably what the Indians used. But I'm not doing that with this one. I just want to get this one done, because when I make the container out of the soapstone, I'm actually going to be using simply just stone pieces that I have. Some quartz, some granite, and a piece of slate that I actually napped a piece off, and it's a real sharp blade. It's one of the primitive knives that I have, so you'll be seeing that here shortly. This one we're just going to make a quick little oil lamp, and I'll just give you an angle from here just to watch how I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm just going to start working on this thing here, and you can see this side here is pretty well done. I just got to sand everything down when I'm done. If you look close at this, you can see little marks where I've grinded it and stuff with the file. I need to take this hole down a little more, and I'll show you what I've been doing. I take this thing here and I just kind of go along the edges, and this keeps my edges nice and straight too, just like they would bore stone out of a mountain. This is how I'm doing it as well, and this gets me my chunks, and then I take my screwdriver and run it over it to knock the ridges down, flatten it all out. Soapstone is very soft. It is, I think, a 4 or a 5 on Mohs scale. diamonds like 10, granite's like 7. You can get sparks from granite. Now when you're doing this, you have to be careful because this stuff is soft and there is veins that can run through here. So if you puncture this from the side, you could pop that whole chunk right out. So if you want to avoid that, be steady, be patient. This takes time to work with this stuff when you're doing something small like this. Soapstone's pretty cool though because it's a stone that is soft, yet it does not absorb water or stains or the oil in this case. It doesn't absorb that stuff, which makes it really unique. Okay, so once I get that, you can see that inside there it's real rough now, all them holes. Well, that's what I've been using my can opener for. I just take it and I run it, I flip it this way and I can run it along the edges and smooth all that out real good. This stuff's super easy to work with. So I just run that there like that, and then I take it on the bottom and I just scrape the bottom down until it's smooth. If there's any spots where I can't really get to, I just take this, my screwdriver, just a flat head. I did file the head down a little bit on this to make it a little sharper. I'm just running that down the edges like this, okay? And that just helps smooth everything out. And I have to say I'm at the right depth right now, so I'm just going to smooth the bottom out. I was already pretty well close to doing this, then I decided I'll shoot a quick video on it to give you guys a intro to soapstone. So then I'll take my screwdriver and I'll just run it along the bottom like this, and that'll help flatten the bottom out. It's a little bit warmer today, so all the birds decide to come out. Kind of nice. It's been pretty cold. You need to put this at an angle, so you're going to want the back of your hole here to be higher than right here. And I'm going to take this piece out on the other side next, and that's where it really dips down. You really want this piece to dip down like that, okay? And when you're done and you get everything done, you can smooth everything out, make it look real good. I just get it to where I'm comfortable, the shape and everything, and then when I'm done, I'll smooth it all out real nice. I don't know if you can see that in there, how easy that comes out. I'm just kind of taking this path down a little bit, making sure all that's going to run down. I have the bottom perfectly flat. I just sat there and you just grind it until it's good and flat. And you want to make sure that your file is completely flat on there when you're filing it out, because if you're on an angle, then you'll end up with an angle on the bottom. Just simple common sense. Now I'm going to want to take this out here, and what I did is I just made little marks in here, and I'm going to file this all down when I'm done. This is just to give me the center mark that I wanted here. And this here, I want it about the same size as that one, so I just kind of eye it up, and then I'm going to score it with my screwdriver. And like I said, you can use permanent marker. It's perfectly fine to do that. Okay, so I'm going to make this mark here, and I wanted this little bit of a V like that, which goes out like this. Score that. Now what you want to do is when you're making these lines and you want them to be good and symmetrical and centered with each other, okay, this point here is here, so I take my screwdriver and I run straight up here, and I'm just gonna, where that point would be here, that's where I want that point to be there. So I take my screwdriver and I got that mark there, and then I bring it back to where this part is right here. So I want it to come that far out, and I want it to be good and lined up with that. So then I make a mark there, and then I make my score mark with my screwdriver or whatever tool I got, because they do make tools for doing this, but I like to think outside the box. Okay, so we got that there. Now the thing with all stone, if you score it right, you can actually take chunks off without ruining it. So I'm going to keep scoring this as I go down. Okay, and then I'm going to take my other tool, and you can see I got that good and scored right here all the way. Oh, there's a little spot here I missed. Get that quick. Get a good deep score, and then I can just take this thing, and I know I'm safe because I scored. See how that good chunk just fell off? Pop, pop, just popping chunks right off. Super simple. And once I'm below that score mark, I gotta make another one. I'm just gonna keep scoring it as I go down. You can see we got that kind of shape going, just like on the other side, and I'm gonna line everything up, make it good and symmetrical, and then I'll get back with you when I drill this hole to meet up with this hole here. You see that hole goes in that far. I need to get this one the same, and then I'll drill right from the center to meet them in the middle. Okay, so we got them both drilled out pretty good there. Alright, I'm happy with that. And then what I want to do is I want to get rid of these marks quick on the top. And then this will just be my kind of my demonstration of how to file these. You just want to get a good smooth motion going, circular. You don't want to be pushing too hard. And you want to go even strokes over the whole thing. A couple circles here, move to the right, a couple circles there, move to the left, until you get all them marks out. And that takes care of that. No time at all. So now we need to drill our other hole. So I'll grab the drill and show you that part. So we want to make sure that we get the same angle. Okay, so what I want to do is just put this in here. You can see about that angle right there. You can kind of guess how far in I am. Okay, so I'm just going to eye everything up. I'm going to try to get that same angle. Now it's important that you get centered with this hole on your other side. So use your eye's judgment. Okay. And actually poke the bit in there to get it started, because it'll jump on you a little bit if you don't. As I move the bit around to make the hole a little bigger, and I definitely want to make sure it has that good angle going down so it all runs downhill. Take my chainsaw file, and I'm going to do the rest of the carving with that. Make sure I get a good pit in the bottom for my wick to sit in. Okay, and the key is you look down there and you can see your chainsaw file hitting it, and you want to rub the flat end. That edge right there will help carve out your walls inside. Okay, so you just want to push that against your walls, and that'll make that inside bigger for you. And I'm just going to keep running that through here like this till I get a big enough chamber where I'm comfortable that it should hold some oil in there for me. And the idea is when I drill through the center, the wick will just sit right on top of that oil. All that oil is going to run down in there, and that chamber will always be completely full, making it so it's always drawing oil up to the wick, which is just how a candle works. Alright, now I got this pretty well centered. I could tell it's pretty close to center because I stuck the chainsaw file in there, made a mark on it, stuck it in here, and it's dead even when it's hitting the bottom. So that means I can make my mark right in center. I'm going to do that by marking it with this. And again, I'm just eyeing it up and I'm making sure it's centered with these two holes. Just going to make a poke. And I'm just going to drill straight down real slow. I don't want to go fast. Again, the reason I don't want to go fast and push hard is because you'll end up breaking what you worked so hard on. Okay, there it is. There's my completed, my own little unique version of an oil lamp. No guarantees that it's going to work, but I feel that it will, because of the way it's going to be able to pull them oils up. So we're going to go ahead and I still have yet to sand it down, because you can use fine grit sandpaper and really smooth these out. There's a polishing compound for marble that I use sometimes, and you can use that on here, and that'll really give it a sheen, good polish look. You know, it's like 600 grit polishing paper, and that'll really smooth it out and polish it to give it that shiny look. You could do that if you wanted to. I'm just going to sand it down. I might even leave the top that rough look because I kind of like that look. It's just more primitive looking. So now I need to make a wick. So I'm going to go find something I got laying around. Maybe some bamboo shavings or something. I'm just going to weave them into a little wick real quick, and we'll put some oil in this and light it up. Alright, so I brought you guys inside, and what we're going to do here is I made this wick here out of cedar. I forgot I had some cedar, and I figured, hey, that'll make a good wick. Should at least. So what we want to do first, I got this full of oil already. I'm just going to dunk this thing in here, get it good and saturated with oil. Okay, and that's important. Okay. Then I want to just stick this down in there. It's actually too long. Okay, so I got my wick in there. I also had this idea, not sure if it's going to work. This is all just shavings from the inner of cedar. And I'm just going to lay that on each side of these. Let that soak in there. Quite possibly it might give us an aroma, because there is oils in that cedar, and that's how you always get the smell of cedar out, is just by taking a layer off the top layer, and that smell of cedar will come right back out. So I'm just going to set that in there and see if we don't get an aroma from it. Okay, and then we just want to simply light it. Let that burn down a minute here. And it should eventually start drawing them oils up, giving us a nice little soapstone candle. You can see now it's burning nice. It's just drawing all them oils right up like that. That thing will burn for a long time.